A grand royal courtyard, sunlight glinting off polished steel. Knights, a dozen strong, sit astride powerful war horses, their breath misting in the cold air. Their armor is impeccable, their gazes fixed forward, a silent testament to years of training for this very moment. High on a dais, the king rises, his expression a mask of stern authority. He lifts a golden scepter, its tip catching the light, and his voice booms across the silent square. A single sharp command, "Go!" In perfect unison, the knights spur their mounts, a thunderous charge that carries them out from the castle gates and across a vast frozen plain. A wave of steel and determination aimed at the distant, shimmering peak of the ice mountain. The knights reach the mountain's base, dismounting before a colossal cavern mouth. Jagged spires of ice like the teeth of some primordial beast frame the dark entrance. Torches in hand, they step from the biting wind into the relative stillness within. The torchlight flickers, casting dancing shadows across an immense crystalline interior. Walls of pure, ancient ice glitter like a cavern of diamonds. There, in the heart of the great chamber, the ice dragon awaits. It is a creature of myth and nightmare. Its scales the color of a winter sky, its sheer size dwarfing the remnants of past challengers, broken shields and rusted swords littering the icy floor. With a roar that shakes the very foundations of the mountain, the battle begins. The cavern descends into chaos as the dragon unleashes its fury. A torrent of freezing breath envelops half the knights, encasing them in statues of ice. Its claws, sharp as obsidian, swipe through the remaining warriors, armor crumpling like paper. In moments, only two are left standing. The dragon turns its malevolent gaze upon the last knight, coiling its powerful body for a final decisive strike. But as the attack lunges forward, Sir Chastis, our hero, throws himself to the right. A desperate dive that narrowly evades the snapping jaws, surprising the great beast. Thinking fast, Chastis acts with a strange, deliberate purpose. He tears off his heavy fur-lined boots, the frigid air instantly biting at his bare feet, his breath pluming in thick clouds. With a grunt of effort, he hurls the boots one after the other, sending them flying past the dragon's head. The creature, momentarily confused by the unexpected projectiles, snarls and snaps at the clumsy objects. Its attention diverted for a crucial second. Shivering violently but with his eyes fixed on his goal, Chastis breaks into a final, desperate sprint across the slick, frozen floor. He reaches his mark, a small rise in the ice, and leaps. With every last ounce of his waning strength, he swings his battle axe, not at the dragon, but high above it. The scene shifts to slow motion as the axe blade strikes a deep, visible fracture in the cavern ceiling. A spiderweb of cracks spreads instantly, and with a groan of shearing ice, massive crystalline shards break free. They rain down like deadly spears, plunging directly onto the distracted dragon below. The beast lets out one final agonized roar as the ice pierces its thick scales, and then it is still, battered, bleeding, and trembling from the cold. Sir Chastis stands victorious over the slain dragon. The final scene shows him riding his lone horse back through the castle gates, the sole survivor of the trial. He carries a single massive dragon scale as his trophy, presenting it to the king as the courtyard erupts in a deafening roar of cheers.
This is Justin. At 13 years old, he was just an ordinary kid with a backpack, walking home after school. But one moment changed everything. He saw a child playing in the street, oblivious to the massive truck barreling toward them. Instinct took over. Justin sprinted, shoved the child to safety, but didn't move fast enough himself. The impact was brutal. He didn't die. He woke up in a sterile hospital bed, his body broken, damaged beyond standard repair. Injuries were detrimental, life-threatening. But his father was wealthy and resourceful. 3 years later, at 16, Justin was fine, but not in the traditional sense. He'd undergone a radical process of organic and genetic regrowth, part augmentation, part natural enhancement. He was now an enhanced human. He was physically superior, a star quarterback with an unfair advantage, living a normal life in an abnormal world. The future, however, was a dangerous place, especially for the high-profile and the well-connected. Assassins didn't use crude tools. Their method for clean, untraceable hits was chilling. They would copy someone close to the target, eliminate the original, and then use the perfect duplicate to get close for the kill. That's just how they did things now. It was fast, effective, and terrifyingly efficient. Justin was 16, but still had homework. He arrived home from school one day expecting silence, but instead found something impossible. Standing in his own room, looking back at him, was himself, an exact twin. His blood ran cold. The machine, perfect in every detail, was ready to strike. The fight was quick and desperate. Justin knew he couldn't win here. He had to run. He bolted outside to his car. This wasn't just any vehicle. It was a futuristic Mustang, which he controlled completely with a device on his wrist, his watch. He jumped in, and the chase was on. The machine was relentless, a duplicate with superhuman persistence. As Justin sped through the city, the duplicate managed to leap onto the trunk of his car, clinging with unnatural strength. He knew a normal escape was impossible. Thinking fast, Justin activated a command on his watch. He pushed the Mustang to its limits. Then, with a calculated risk, he purposefully wrecked the car. A controlled crash, violent enough to dislodge the machine from the trunk, sending it tumbling. The car was ruined, but the machine was off his back. He had to keep moving. He needed a place where his unique enhancements gave him an edge. He ran toward the only place he could think of, a Chamber 19. These were recreational, anti-gravitational chambers, popular for floating around and relaxing. His wealthy father owned one key advantage. He dashed inside, grabbing a specialized air belt. A device that allowed for superior maneuverability in zero-G trapped the duplicate inside the chamber with him. Justin knew the machine was after his father next. This fight had to end now. He engaged the anti-gravity field. The two figures began to float, the machine disoriented, Justin utilizing the belt to gain speed and agility. He was faster, certainly, but the duplicate was stronger, more durable. The endless floating battle began to wear Justin down. He was tiring while the machine showed no sign of stopping. With his last reserves of strength, Justin made a desperate final move. He maxed out the gravitational field maximum power. The sudden, violent force slammed the machine and himself toward the glass observation dome at the top of the chamber. The glass dome shattered dramatically. Justin grabbed a precarious ledge, pulling himself up, safe. The machine duplicate, however, plunged through the broken dome. 19 stories down, it shattered on the floor like ordinary glass. Justin was alive. The threat was neutralized. For now,
Scene start. Part 1, the capture. Int. Sleek boat. Night. A professional hitman, mid-30s, all in black, peers through the night vision scope of a sniper rifle. The crosshairs settle on a distant, well-lit yacht. The ocean is calm, the air is still. He is a ghost, an instrument of death. Suddenly, a blinding spotlight hits him. The night shatters. The roar of powerful engines erupts as Coast Guard vessels converge on his position from all sides. Heavily armed officers swarm his boat. He doesn't resist. He knows when the game is lost. He's subdued with cold, swift efficiency. Cut to Int. Specialized prison cell. Day. The hitman, now a prisoner in a sterile orange jumpsuit, sits on the edge of a narrow bunk. His name is gone, replaced by a number. The tools of his trade are gone. He is just another cage in a zoo of forgotten men. Part 2. The experiment and outbreak. Int. Prison laboratory. Night. In a dark, clinical laboratory deep within the prison's foundation, a terrified prisoner is strapped to a steel table. A scientist in a hazmat suit injects a glowing green serum into his arm. The prisoner's body convulses violently. His screams twist into something inhuman, guttural. Bones crack and reshape. He becomes the first zombie. It lunges forward, tearing the restraints apart. Red emergency lights flash. Alarms scream through the facility as the zombie attacks the lab personnel. The breakout has begun. The infection spreads like wildfire through the terrified staff. Part 3, the hitman's escape. Int. Prison cell. Night. The distant sounds of chaos, screams, gunfire, and monstrous snarls reach the hitman's cell. He remains unnervingly calm. He stands, dislocates his thumb with a sickening pop, slips his cuffs, and uses a piece of his bed frame to jimmy the electronic lock. He moves into the blood-splattered corridors, now armed with a pistol taken from a dead guard. He navigates the darkness with lethal grace. The shambling dead, former guards, former inmates, lurch toward him. He doesn't hesitate. Headshot. 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 A professional adapting his deadly skills to a new horrifying hunt. Part 4, The Horror Ending. XT, Prison Gate, Day. After a brutal fight through hordes of zombies, the hitman reaches the massive fortified main prison gate. He overrides the security and forces it open. He steps out into the blinding daylight, taking a deep breath of what he thinks is freedom. Relief washes over him. But the camera pulls back and back and back. The prison is on an isolated island, but beyond the water, the world is a ruin. Smoke billows from skeletal skyscrapers. The cities are overrun. Vast masses of zombies, a sea of undeath stretch as far as the eye can see. His relief evaporates, replaced by absolute soul-crushing horror. He escaped one prison only to find himself in a much, much larger one. Scene end.